Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today we are looking at the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is a book on self-improvement, and a lesson jumped out at me that I just wanted to come on here and share. That lesson being that he gives the advice to start small on your self-improvement journey and on tackling your time management. So, what James Clear says in this book, he says, habits compound to work for you or against you. And that is why his advice is to start small. Now, if you think of this statement, habits compound to work for you or against you, you realize just how true that is. If you look back 10 years, what you have been doing for those 10 years to what you are now, you will realize that where you are now has been determined by your habits trajectory over the past 10 years, and where you will be 10 years from now is going to be determined by your current habits in all sectors of your life. Now, for instance, if you were to eat fries and, let's say, junk food daily or regularly for the next 5 years, it is definitely going to reflect on your body. It may not happen in a day, but it will happen over the course of time. In 10 years, you'll have put on more pounds than you weigh currently. And that is why James Clear says that you can tell where you will end up 10 years if you study your current habits in all sectors of your life. Personally, I lost 25 kgs this year, but it is not something that I lost this year. I started 5 years ago. I started working out 5 years ago. Back then, I weighed 90 kgs, and I worked out, and it didn't seem like there was anything happening. I changed my eating habits, and now I lost 25 kgs this year. How did that happen? Is it something that happened this year, or is it something that has been happening over the course of 5 years? Currently, I'm in the maintenance stage. Would I have been able to maintain this weight had I not been doing the habits that I have been doing in the past 5 years? I don't think so. And so, when we look at our habits from that perspective, that what we were doing 5 years ago comes to determine what we will be in the now. What we are doing right now and every day for the next 5 years will come to determine where we will be in 5 years. Then we gain an appreciation of habits and where we want to take our lives. What you eat every day, whether you exercise or not, all these habits eventually come to bite us if we are not doing applying them correctly, if you're not doing the right thing. And so he advises us to start small, and he says you do not have to make big changes. You just have to do small improvements, like a 1% improvement in the area that you seek to advance. And it is these tiny changes that we make every day that eventually accumulate, sort of like compound interest, accumulate to make you a better version of yourself in 5 years' time. It's only when you look back that you notice a habit has become it can be labeled as good, bad or good. For instance, if you were eating fries every day, you'd not be able to see the effects immediately. But after 5 years, you'd be able to pinpoint and say, "Wow, these are the consequences of me eating fries every day, eating junk food every day, not exercising every day, and so on and so forth." And so we realize that success truly is the product of our daily habits, and that outcomes in life, in our lives, they're simply a measure of our habits. And so, how can we go about implementing this? So, you need to look at every sector of your life. Maybe make 2 columns on a page and list down um, a sector in your life. For instance, if it is fitness, physical fitness, and ask yourself, what is working for me on one column, and then ask yourself, what is not working for me, and then see the gap and what you can do about that. For instance, physical fitness, you could look at how much you weigh, and how much you want to weigh. You can look at your current eating habits. What do you take for breakfast and what do you take for lunch? You could look at habits around maintaining your weight. What have you been doing? What have you not been doing? Do you like the trajectory of your physical fitness? Can you say that at 50 you would look the same as you do now? And would you be happy with that? After that, you can ask yourself, okay, what habits can I put in place to help me towards this goal? So, for instance, you could go to the gym and you can choose an exercise that you like. Some people like walking outside. You could say, okay, every day I'll walk outside for 10 minutes for the first month, 15 minutes for the next month, and eventually add 5 more minutes each month until you're comfortable with that duration. Healthy eating. How have you been eating? Analyze your eating habits. Do you want to incorporate more fruits? Maybe in the form of smoothies, water, up your water intake. Is it preferable for you to get a coach or a nutritionist towards physical fitness? These are things you can analyze and be honest with yourself and take small steps towards this. Of course, most people start on the gym, especially in the new year, but then they give up, and they wonder why the change is not showing, so they give up too soon. So the trick is to be persistent, and that is why you want to start small. You don't want to say, okay, today I'm going to the gym and I'm going to lift as much pounds as I can, or I'm going to lift a 15 kg dumbbell when you've never lifted a dumbbell in your life. So getting advice from the coach, expressing your desires in terms of your goals, physical fitness goals. Getting professional help could help, or just starting small, engaging in exercises that you like. I really enjoy aerobics, and so I find myself working out in aerobics. Some people enjoy swimming. Start with that. It doesn't have to be complex. I'm a person that does not enjoy running, and so if I try to adapt that to that would be a fail. So just start small. Go for the aerobics class and just do the first 15 minutes, and that's it. But ensure that you try and maintain consistency in terms of going. It's the developing of that habit that will help you out. And so You could go this week, maybe skip next week, but then go the other week and tell yourself, I will not miss 2 weeks consecutively. And so in a month, you will go 2 times, but you will never miss um, twice consecutively. And that would help you towards your goals. If you maybe want to improve yourself, maybe intellectually, you could ask yourself, what are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? What new skills are you getting? Maybe you want to earn more at work. Are there skills that are appreciated in your field? How can you get these skills? There are open courses online you can do and such like things. Emotionally, mentally, how do you talk to yourself? Are you a person that criticizes yourself? You could start looking around mindset changes. What are the small changes that you could do? And are you judging people? Do you have a limiting mindset belief? What are the changes you can make towards this? What are the things you say to yourself? Extending self-compassion for yourself every day, catching yourself in a mind state that is negative and saying, no, I don't want to be stuck in this mindset, and replacing that thought with a new thought. I've actually been working with a coach around mindset changes, and it is amazing the thoughts that we just let fly by and consider as normal in our lives. Talking down to ourselves, thinking that it's normal, entertaining negative thoughts and remaining in that state and thinking that that is normal. Whereas these are like uninvited insects in your home that you would quickly take notice of and do something to clear from your home. Why do we entertain negative thoughts? And what can we do to be rid of them so that we bring in only the fresh air, the good thoughts, things that make us feel good despite what we are going through? Relationships. How do you maintain your relationships? Do you still go on dates? Or have you neglected your relationship? For instance, if you're married, are you kind and considerate during arguments? Do you think of the consequences of your words? So every day, if you think about these statements, every day for the next 10 years, where will your relationship be? Financially. And this is an area that I know many people can relate to, because we all want to secure the bag, as we say. Are you saving money? Do you have a strategy in place towards saving money? Is this something you need help with, professional help with? Are you educating yourself around money? Do you like your current money habits? Again, make those two columns and ask yourself, where am I? Where would I like to be? Is there a gap? What are the steps I can take to close this gap? If you have zero savings and you would like to have $1 million in savings, how do you go from this to that? With small changes, it will not happen overnight, and it may not even happen in 1 year, but setting that intention that you do want it to happen and saying, no matter the time it takes, I will get there. Something is better than nothing, so start small. budgeting. Again, around finances, are you budgeting? So look at all these habits and recognize that good habits will make time your ally, and the reverse is true. So habits compound to work for you or against you. That message really, really, the power of compounding habits, the fact that the choices that you make now will impact you 20 years from now, with your children, for instance. You want to be present every day. What are the steps you can take to be present every day? And think about this impact. 10 years from now, your children will not be as small as they are right now. They'll probably be leaving the home. Will you be happy with this? Will you have been active in their lives? Socially, most of us are headed towards retirement. And we need to ask ourselves, are we building existing friendships? We are reaching an age where we're starting to realize that the people we know, maybe our grandparents and such, are leaving this earth, and we have to ask ourselves, have we spent enough time with them? So do we need to develop a more regular habit of calling our loved ones? Do we need to be careful and more intentional with whom we spend time with? There is a blog, I don't remember the blogger, but there is a blog, and I will link it down below, where the person basically said, the person calculated the time block that they have left for seeing their parents, considering they see their parents 3 times a year. And they estimated that if their parents were to live to 90 years, how much time he has left to spend with them. And it was staggering, the things we take for granted. If you only see your parents at Christmas and they live to be 90, based on your current age or their current age, imagine the number of times left for you to see them. It sort of puts things in perspective. So that is the advice that I have taken from James Clear. And I thought I would share it with you because it really connected with me. I think it's life-changing advice to just start small and recognize that every habit you exercise today is an investment onto your future. Good habits compound to make time your ally. The reverse is true for negative habits. So if you go to the gym today and tomorrow and for the next 10 years, every day for the next 10 years, versus never going, what will happen in 10 years' time? How will you look in 10 years' time? And I know J-Lo gets a lot of flack, but look at her at 50. Some could say she's rich, but she's also an active, athletic dancer. And you see the benefits of that. So start small and recognize that time is our ally. Time is your ally.